What is the most powerful trait we have? You need power, speed. Let your imagination do the rest.
Undisputed, the Mexican Monster Pack out now.
Boxing King Media, we're back again. We're in the Ingle gym this time, not on a Zoom call. It's episode 40 done. We've made it to 40 episodes. Would you believe it? That's a lot of time.
Oh, it is. I mean, they say life begins at 40, but I don't think with this one podcasts begin at 40, do they? Because we've had a lot of interest over the last couple of well, all of them. In fact, they've all been interesting. So maybe we can make 50.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping we can get to 100. That'll be some achievement. When I should think to the first time I interviewed you. I don't know if you remember or not. It was I interviewed you on a mobile phone, and we was talking about Liam Williams leaving your gym.
Oh, is that what it was? Well, yeah. You know what they say about mobile phones giving you brain damage. I can't remember that, so I've probably been on the mobile phone too long. Yeah,
you look, I still remember the thumbnail because you looked mega angry on that one. But yeah, that was the start of it all. Liam Williams. Maybe we can get Liam here one day. You never know, because he's kind of disappeared, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's around and about.
Yeah, so let's jump into the boxing. I'll tell you the first thing I want to talk about. I wanted to do it in person, not over the Zoom call the other day. Posted a video of you on Instagram the other week doing surgical procedure within the ring. You know,
well, actually, it's a non-surgical procedure.
Is it okay, yeah, I suppose it is, isn't it? But yeah, you had one of your young fighters that you're building around the world. Jay Kira, is it? Korea, yeah. So basically, he's in a 4-round fight over in Dubai, and I understand his shoulder pops out, and there you are in the corner. You're whispering something to him, and next thing you know, bang! You could almost hear it click on the video. I'll actually play the video now, so those that haven't seen it on Instagram, it's done a lot of views. But if you've missed it, I'll play it now.
You don't want it like you, Jay.
Sit down. Oh, relax. Oh, relax.
Don't even lose that.
Yeah, right. There's no You've got to get in that jab. You bring a little bit too often. Right. And when you're throwing that jab near, it's coming over the top. You've got to jab and come back. Jab, what's you got to do? Come on. One more round.
No, that's wrong.
You're being with one arm. Are you listening? It's one arm. Right.
Come on, Jay.
People can do that. That's what I'm saying to you. Right. Relax. Have faith in yourself. Jab and move. It's after a minute. And you've got to make this round look good. Otherwise you'll get a draw out the draw. You understand? Yeah.
Come on, Jay. We want to win this round.
If you inside jab, good job you can box both ways, mate. Yeah? Come on, over.
Nice and focused, Jay. Don't even lose that right hand, Jay.
Right, everyone's just seen the video, so you can see what you've gone and done there. You've popped it back in, and obviously then you've given him instruction to carry on. So just tell me, when he's walked back into when did you realise he popped his
Well,
shoulder?
it happened in the first 30 seconds of the fight, and he's a southpaw. He's never boxed orthodox, but I have been switching in the gym, and he once said to me, I don't want to be switching. I said, yeah, you never know, it's going to come in useful, come in handy. And he got into a bit of an hole with this kid, and the kid actually pulled his arm and kind of twisted it, and he went, my arm. I could see his arm had come out, and I said, more or less like, shut the F up, switch orthodox and get on with it. And he didn't even have time to think about it. He switched orthodox and just started using his left hand for the jab. And he came back to the corner, and you just go into autopilot really, because it's the first round. He's an unbeaten kid. He could have very easily gone, I can't carry on, my arm's popped out, and it would have been a good enough excuse, and whatever. But nobody really wants to see that loss, on a record, on a prospect record. So he came back, and I was more concerned. Well, I wasn't more concerned, but I was concerned that the officials around the ringside might pull the fight. The doctor kept coming up and saying, is he all right? So the proper way to put your shoulder in is actually to lift your arm up straight and twist it back, and that pops it in. But I didn't want to do that, because I didn't want to show the opposition that he got an injury, and I really didn't want to alert the ringside doctors. So I just manipulated it in. You could hear it clunk back in, and then he went back out. But I knew it was going to come out in the round. It came out every round. So it wasn't the first round I did it. I did the first round, end of the first round, end of the second, end of the third, and end of the fourth. And when the doctor got in the ring, he tried. I said, it's already gone back in, doctor. I've already put it back in. He went, okay. And he goes, this is the proper way. I goes, yeah, I know it is. But, I had to do it that way. And I noticed some people said, it's dangerous that. But if you cash him, I've not really seen that happen a lot of times, the shoulder popping out fights. It probably does, but it might not be well documented. But the most well documented fight was Danny Williams against Mark Potter back in 2000. Ricky Hatton was boxing John Thaxton at the Wembley Conference Centre in 2000. What a fight that was. They nearly killed each other. And Danny Williams was one of the chief supports against Mark Potter. Mark Potter was the Southern Area heavyweight champion. And he kind of been called in last minute, a few weeks' notice, because somebody had pulled out. And Mark Potter gave a very, very good account of himself. He was beating Danny Williams. And Danny Williams' arm popped out. His right arm popped out. And the fight went on, and they tried to get it back in the corner, and I don't think they could. And all the way through that round, his arm's dropping out. And then he caught Mark Potter with a beautiful left uppercut and finished him off with one hand. He had him down about 3 times. The referee stopped it, and it was a tremendous win. And from that point on, Danny Williams never really had a problem with that shoulder again. Maybe he had an operation and it had it tightened up, I don't know. But he never had an issue. And I hope this is going to be the same for this lad. He's got to have a scan on it, see a specialist and see where he's at. And hopefully it's not going to happen again. But yeah, it's a bit worrying, but it's like anything else. You've got to keep calm. If you start panicking, then your fighter starts panicking, and then it all goes, the wrong way around.
What, obviously you said that people are saying it's dangerous, but let's just say, hypothetically speaking, if that happened in the UK and you did that, would you get into trouble for that after the fight? Because worse things have happened, haven't there? It's like, there's actually no procedure. The doctor could probably get up and stop it, depending. But because it's already happened before with Danny Williams, they're going to find it hard to, go against that, aren't they? They've already set a precedent with that. So it's going to be very difficult, to do anything different. So it'd be interesting, but you don't often see that happening. But yeah, it was a fascinating moment, I think. And then obviously the instructions you gave him, they seemed, you kind of spurred him on, and and he got a knockdown as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he knocked him down in the first round, which got him. I think he won by a couple of points. But the kid then, I think, realised maybe in the third round he was damaged, and he went for the kill. But luckily, my lad Jay, we call him, just boxing with the left jab and just moved and kept calm under pressure. And it's funny because he boxed in Dubai a couple of last year, and he got cut. And it's the same thing when you've never been cut in a fight, and fighters tend to panic straight away. And he came back to the corner, we sorted it out, and I said to him after that fight, I said, listen, no matter what goes off in the fight, don't be worrying whether it's a cut, an injury, whatever. Leave it to me. Do you understand? Don't panic. Don't be worrying. You've just got to do the fighting. And he said afterwards, when he came back, he said, yeah, I just remember that conversation when I first got cut and I was panicking. He said to me, don't panic about anything. You'll sort it one way or another. And that's, he kept calm and got through the fight and beat the kid with one arm. So fair play to him.
And where did you learn to do that, popping shoulders back in?
I didn't. It's just trial and error.
You just winged it, bloody hell. But yeah, good on you doing that. You kept his own and grinded it out. Next thing I want to speak to you about, your book. I see you literally got a few copies left.
I've got a few copies left of the first print, so
yeah,
I'm gonna give 5 away.
We're doing a competition. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. We're doing a competition.
We'll do a competition.
We're doing a competition. There you go.
I'll give 5 away. Dominic Ingle, Real Food 2, Healthy Eating. It's got some great illustrations in.
So just to clarify, this is the second book that you released.
Second
We've got
book.
some brilliant meals in it, really simple stuff to help you lose weight, etc. So basically, we're going to give 5 away. We've come up with a concept of how you can win this. So Dom's going to ask you the question, but to get it right, you've got to make sure you're following Dom on Instagram, and you've got to DM Dom the answer. So I'll put up Dom's Instagram address now on the screen. As you can see, that's his Instagram page. So just go onto Instagram, follow Mr. Ingle, and
send me the answer.
Send him the answer. And the question is?
The question is, my dad obviously boxed amateur, he was a famous boxing coach, but he had a lot of brothers, they all boxed. The more successful brother was also the oldest brother, but what was his first name? And what weight category did he box in?
That's a serious question, that. So what weight category did he box in, and what's Brendan Ingle's oldest brother's name? If you want any clues, we filmed a documentary with Kel Brook and Tony Ingle, who's Brendan's brother, in Dublin. I'll have the link pinned to the comments. Give that a watch. It's a great documentary that gives you an insight into Brendan Ingle, his upbringing, etc. And you might find the answer in there. But yeah, that's a good little thing to win that. And then the other thing, we've been kind of advertising it in the last couple of days, the Green Room Experience. Again, this link will be pinned in the comments. They've only got a few tickets left. If you want to sit in the Royal Box, have dinner, drinks, and watch Usyk versus Daniel Dubois this Saturday in Wembley Stadium, a proper VIP experience amongst Ricky Hatton, Johnny Nelson, and a few other people.
And me, possibly.
And possibly Dominic Ingle. You can buy the tickets now. I'll have the link up in the comments. So, moving on, in that moment, there'll be numerous people slagging this off, saying, oh, they're trying to sell stuff, they're trying to give away stuff. You can't win, can you?
You can't win, but like those boots, it's interesting. The boots I've got, I've been walking.
How were the boxer?
Yeah, I've been walking around in them to bed them in, because if you don't bed them in, they kind of give me, most boots give me sore feet, but they've been all right. But it's funny because Rob the Roofer messaged me straight after that video and ordered a pair.
No way.
He's ordered a pair straight away. I've got these boots. I've made an order, so you know he's happy with them at the minute. He's doing a little bit of boxing in the bags. So yeah, but I'm gonna get them on this week and do a bit of bag work. I'll do some social media with it. See how I'm moving them. I've had various people asking me for the boots, Luca. Various people asking me if I can give them the boots because I'm not going to use them.
No way.
But I'm not giving them.
But
away.
you give them a thumbs up. Good boots?
Yeah, they're good. Yeah, they are good. They're comfortable. Very comfortable.
Yeah, good stuff that. It's funny because I said to you about people slagging it off. I was talking to Gareth A. Davis the other day and I was telling him how many people slate him in the comments, but they still watch it. Like there'll be people watching this right now and they'll go away, they'll either put negative comments on the video or they'll go make their own videos, chatting rubbish and, and it's like, just don't watch the content. I just don't get the society.
You've got to.
If you don't like it, if you don't like what people are saying, just don't
but I
watch
think
it.
sometimes people like to watch the stuff to criticise it. I think a lot of people in life silently criticise people in everyday life, don't they? They walk around and they kind of be judging and criticising people. I do it sometimes, but it's really unfounded, isn't it? It's like, oh, I don't like that. But some people like to vent, don't they? They like to get it out off their chest, and it creates a bit of a talking point and interest.
Very true, because I'd like to think we do a pretty good job. Again, I always highlight it, doing this without any handouts, any favours from any promoters. We're not biased to any promoter, completely independent, and we don't ask-kiss anyone. So, he's a bit annoying at times. But moving on, Adam Azim, he got married at the tender age of 22, Dom. What do you make of that? Because it was weird, the whole videos of him getting married went viral on TikTok, did millions and millions of views, but there was a strong section of people that were just slagging him off for getting married at that age. And what would you kind of make of it? A guy that's, people are saying is going to be the next superstar in British boxing.
Well, my dad always used to say there's nothing better than stability. And, in this day and age, with what's going on, you look at the people like the Bonnie Blues and all these people making money out of their OnlyFans and selling sex online and stuff. It'll be difficult these days to get somebody who's, like a regular type of person you're going to marry, I suppose, because everybody thinks, with social media, everybody can be a superstar. So it's probably a good move because it'll give him stability, it'll give him time to focus on what he needs to do. And it'll also give him a motivation, to get through boxing, because when you're single, it's all about yourself. But when you get married and have kids, you've got to think about other people, and it is a big motivating factor in life because you're having to work towards something, you're having to support people who rely on you. So it is a good driving force, And when Johnny Nelson got married and had kids, that's when his career kind of turned around a little bit. He more or less thought, well, I've got to start winning, I've got to start doing these things, what to provide. Whereas before it was just all on him. So, you've got more accountability, haven't you? So listen, it's down to personal choice, and if he's found the right woman, why is it down to anybody else?
That's a very valid point. Do you think society's moved on? Maybe people don't identify being married as like that?
I don't think society's moved on. There's people think they've got more opportunities and more, there's more opportunities in life to stay single as long as you can. But, I don't think that's the way. It's at all. So I think the most balanced people in life are married and successful people. Some of the most successful people have been married 50, 60 years.
From your dad's era, I'm guessing getting married at that age of Was it normal?
Yeah, about normal. My dad got married, I think he was about 27. Oh no, he was 27 when he had me. So he got married. He got married
25.
yeah, he would have got married. No, he probably got married about when he got married in about 1960, did he? So he got married about 22, 23. Yeah, because my brother was born in 64. So he'll have been married, at least a good 2 years before he'd had kids. So yeah, he was about the same age.
Good stuff. And then the next one, we're going to talk about the big fight of the weekend. We did some predictions last week, and I was telling a lot of people that most of the people I spoke to, I think a lot of the people that work in the media, obviously I'm not going to name them, but off camera, a lot of them thought Hamzah Sheeraz would get knocked out. They wouldn't dare say it to his face, but a lot of them were saying that. But with regards to what I found a common trend was people that I spoke to actually know boxing, yourself, Shane McGuigan and Paulie Malignaggi, you all said Hamzah Sheeraz should beat this guy. You backed him on points, and Paulie and Shane did pick the knockout. I think Shane called it right down to a T. He kind of said, he sees like a devastating knockout happening. I think you said you'd see Hamzah pretty much dominating him and beating him on points. But he got the knockout, so just want to get your initial reaction to the outcome of the fight.
Yeah, I think looking at Berlanga, he got a lot of credibility for managing to survive for 12 rounds with Canelo. And, it is difficult to survive with a fighter like him, but Canelo never really had any intention of kind of stopping him. He was happy just to plod along. And I think after Hamzah's last fight, where a lot of people were disappointed with him, I think he had a point to prove regardless, and he was going to do it like a do or die situation. He kept calm all the way through the week. He kept it all in. And you do tend to find when you've got fighters mouthing off and spouting off all the way through the week, it's kind of a bit of bravado, really. And I thought Hamzah might struggle to stop him because Hamzah can punch, once he felt Hamzah's power, he would back off and try and do a Canelo and get through the fight. But I think Berlanga thought he'd got more than he already had, that he was capable of beating Hamzah. And because he engaged with Hamzah, that's why Hamzah found it so easy to connect and get him. And that's what he did, he flattened him really. My dad would call it a demolition job. He was a bit wild at times, Hamzah, a bit reckless when he was throwing some shots. He was a bit wide open, but the shots were connecting and he finished him off in proper good style. So he's gone back up in my estimations. He's gone back up in a lot of people's estimations. Hopefully now he can ride that wave of success and get into a big fight and get back into a world title shot.
Do you think the fact of him moving up in weight, because a lot of people say, do fighters carry weight up or they carry their power up? Do you reckon in that case?
Well, it's not really. He were powerful at the lower weights, but the difference is he'll be able to sustain it for longer because he will have been draining himself to get down to the weight he was. And when he's at this weight, the more natural weight, he'll feel more energized. The power will be more sustained through the fight. He's getting older. He's growing up. He's a tall fella, so it would have been an advantage at some point being down at the lighter weight, but you're going to outgrow that at some point, and he's obviously done that. And he's in order to be successful and carry through, he's got to really adapt. Some fighters leave it too late, they get beat and then they move up a weight, and he's obviously just timed it right. So he probably realised in his last fight that when he got the draw, that he probably thought, I just didn't feel it, I didn't feel myself, I didn't have the energy. And even though he was ranked high up in that division, he's made the move for the longevity of his career.
Well, that bit you said about him doing a kind of bit of a reckless finish, there was a question around that, and I remember the answer he gave. I think he said in round 2 or 3, he hit Berlanga with a left uppercut to, I think it was either to the solar plex or the chin, and he heard Berlanga say, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
And he goes, the moment he heard that, he goes,
going for the kill.
He goes, I knew I had him. So he wasn't like, he kind of lost the fear of like what he was coming back.
You've always got to be careful though, because it's not beyond. You've seen it I've seen it in an MMA fight when the fighter gets kicked, goes into the fence, feigns injury, the fella goes in for the kill and he drops him walking in. There's always that, that could always happen. That he's, playing possum as they call it. So you can never rely on that. You've still got to be focusing what you do and precise, and take your time, because you could actually walk onto one, and it's happened so many times.
Well, a couple of talking points that came from that fight. Jim Lampley, Antonio Tarver and Mike Coppinger were on the commentary, and they, somewhere in the middle of the fight, Jim Lampley raised the question about Hamzah's beard, and he basically said, should commissions force fighters to remove beards? And then the reason he suggested that was as it could potentially protect him as a protective layer of the chin. And then Antonio Tarver suggested that it can hide the target. You know, you may not see where you're punching. So thoughts on that?
Well, you know, Lampley's been around for a long time and he's been a respected commentator, but you do have to ask yourself the question, when it's coming up with comments like that, it's like, there's no exact point on the chin, to get back to Tarver, where you're going to hit what's going to knock you out quicker. So that kind of debunks that. And it's not even about cushioning, because it's when it's the shot hitting the chin, your head twisting, what causes the knockout. It's the brain shaking in the skull. It's your head twisting what causes the knockout. So I've seen people in sparring get dropped and knocked out with a full face protector on, because the kinetic force hitting, bang, head twisting. You know, it don't matter how much packing you've got there. You know, it's not going to cushion it. It might cushion it, but it's still going to twist your head and cause a knockout. So it's just ridiculous what he said, because, you know, knockouts aren't caused by, you know, not having padding there. It's like absorbing it. It's your head twisting what causes the knockout.
I think he obviously then he suggested it, and then Tarver basically said he could hide the target. Is there any risk of
No, I'm saying, but you can't hide the target, because there's no, you've got a rough idea. When you're aiming to hit somebody in the head, you might be aiming for the side of the head, you might hit them on the chin, you might hit them on the top of the temple, because when you throw the shot, you might have got a target in mind, but the opposition's going to try and move his head. It's not going to be a static target like you're shooting at a target. It's going to move. So you might be aiming for the chin, or you might be anticipating where the fighter's going to move. So a lot of fighters, you're throwing a shot or throwing a hook, they might dip, they might pull back. So you've got to anticipate what they're doing. So you'll see it with fighters a lot of times, is that you'll set a shot up and see how they react. So you might throw a jab, they might slip inside. You might throw a hook, they might dip. So you might throw a feint, wait for them to dip and then connect on the target. But you're not looking for a particular point on the chin. It's not like that's going to knock you out, that's going to knock you out. It could be anywhere down the side of the face where it's going to hit you and twist your head. So, you know, that's a bit of a silly comment as well.
Well, apparently the British Boxing Board have got a rule in the amateurs. If your beard can be up to 10 centimetres or 4 inches long, it definitely wasn't 10 centimetres long.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been rules, a lot of rules over the past. I think even with the British Board of Control, there was a rule at one time where you had to...
It can't cover yet, so I'll read the full rule out so it's got good context. England Boxing Board, a boxer can have a beard and a moustache, but neither can be longer than 10 centimetres, which is 4 inches, and it cannot cover the neck, according to the England boxing rules.
Right, amateur boxing, that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amateur boxing. It's a bit different.
But it wasn't even that long.
Sorry?
According to them rules, his beard was...
Yeah, but it's not amateur, it's professional. So it's different rules anyway. And how many times have you seen fighters with beards? It's like, it's a bit of a mute point, really. It's not something what matters. It's a good excuse, you know, for why, but it doesn't make a difference.
Well, the other part of it, Mike Coppinger, he said a beard could have an abrasive nature, suggesting it could cause a cut.
No, absolutely no chance. And the only way it can be abrasive is when it's down to a stubble, because that's what we used to do in sparring. You get in and you'd rub the stubble on the face. I used to do it with my kids. My dad used to do it with me. So the stubble do it, but there's absolutely no way. You might get a bit of scratching on your face, but it's never going to cut you in a way that's going to cause you an injury where you can't continue to fight. It's just nonsense. It's just filling in spaces in the commentary when they've got nothing better to talk about.
Yeah, that's probably a good summing up of that. Here's a question for you. Obviously, whenever a fighter gets a win like that, you know, people jump on the bandwagon, but there's also a cross-section of people who will still find reasons to select the win, etc. Is he the real deal based on that, or is it hype?
He's the real deal. Is it the best? Is it the peak now? Is it the best that he can produce? We're doing that because, like I say, in his last fight.
Let me just rephrase it again, because this is going to be part of the Instagram clip. Is Hamzah Sheeraz the real deal, or is he a hype job?
If you can go to America and knock somebody out in America, Naz did it with Kevin Kelly, Kel beat Sean Porter, Hamzah Sheeraz has done it to Belanga. If you can cross over into America and do a demolition like that like Hamzah did on that opponent, then you're the real deal.
Okay, interesting that. But it's definitely good times for British boxing. In fact, the last thing I forgot to mention in that fight, I was talking about all these reasons and excuses. I don't know if you've seen the stuff about the hand wraps that's come out. So I'll just show you the picture. I'll have it on the screen.
Yeah.
So people are basically suggesting he had something in the hand wraps. I've seen Andy Lee comment on this picture, and he's basically said, "I'm Hamzah's coach. I wrapped his hands. The commission wouldn't allow me to cut the second wrap off after the fight, but the commission and Belanga's coach watched me wrap Hamzah's hands, inspected all the gauze and tape used."
Yeah, you can't. We've had this conversation a million times, and when you're in America, the commissions are so strict. You can't. Not that you're going to do anything, but you can't put anything. You know that you look at. I think the fight way back when who did the illegal hand wraps there, the big tall welterweight against Cotto, was it when he boxed Cotto?
Yeah.
And they got away with it, but you're not going to get away with it these days. It's like, I've been to America loads of times and they're so strict, they're on top of you. I remember one time I went to America with Kel Brook back in about 2011, and we're in the changing room, and Kel used to wear a cricket box protector and you had to have a full groin guard, and the inspector came and said, "You can't wear that." And his dad went, "Well, you can." He went, "No, you can't. If you can't get a full protector, he's not boxing." Then Eddie Hearn came in, he couldn't sort it out. So I went round everybody in the changing room asking these American fighters if I could borrow the groin guard, and they all looked at me in like, "Why do you want to be wearing somebody else's sweaty groin guard?" But we hadn't got one. And luckily for that trip, Kid Gallagher had come over with his training gear to watch Kellen to train, and he got this nice red winning boxing protector, full protector, and Kel obviously down at weight, it fitted him. So Barry saved the day for that fight, and Kel won the fight. But the commission were adamant he wasn't fighting unless he got a complete groin guard, and nobody was going to lend us one. So you know, we asked in both changing rooms, couldn't get one. So the commissions are very strict, and if say the hand wraps were illegal, because what they tend to do is cut them off after the fight and analyse your wraps anyway, they'd have found some fault. But I think that's clickbait more than anything, you know, looking for an excuse. It's like, you know, it's well documented Hamzah Sheeraz can punch. So, you know, that kind of blows that one out of the water.
Right, we'll put that to bed. There's obviously so much we could talk about his next move, but we'll leave that for now. I think we'll discuss that another time.
The most powerful trait we have. You need power, speed. Let your imagination do the rest.
Undisputed, the Mexican Monster Pack out now.